Hello and welcome to another The Punter. I'm Nick Wealthall and we're going to be guiding you through the week's betting action. Should be a good one. The first shock news is that I survived Old Trafford with my plastic scouse credentials intact and undercover. About 4-1 against I was to do that, so I'm pretty happy about it. I've got a great panel as ever with a new face. First of all, one of our favourites, Russ Wiseman from Sportingbet is here. Russ, another Old Trafford survivor.
Yeah, great day though, wasn't it, Nick?
Amazing
Fascinating atmosphere, unusual atmosphere as well, wasn't it? But from a betting point of view, I mean, the punters got it right. Big money for Manchester United. Disappointing Liverpool performance, and probably the scoreline didn't reflect the probably the supremacy of the home side. But it was interesting stuff. But that last weekend was an interesting one from a betting perspective. Obviously, Spurs doing the damage against of Newcastle. That was a huge industry gamble on that as well. And a couple of the rugby games went against the bookies. So it was an interesting one for us. But United was the big story.
It was. And how come there's no handshake bet? We've had debacles with that before, and nobody even offered a market.
No, and do you know what? I don't want to talk about it anymore. It's literally become so tedious, that, hasn't it? But when we were there, it was fascinating, wasn't it, for that first few minutes?
Yeah,
it was,
I felt like I was experiencing primal man, and that was just my mum. Neil Channing, our punter, is with us as ever. How was your weekend?
Norwich was obviously the high spot of my weekend, so I was very happy about that.
You shouted that.
And I seem to remember banging on once or twice about Wayne Rooney to be the top Premier goal scorer as a nice each way, some would say burgle. But they are betting win only on that now. But I was very pleased because I'd backed the draw at half time in that game you were talking about, and obviously I'm on Rooney, so very nice win.
Nice again. Well, I'm glad it made you happy.
I was very happy about that, actually. The rugby was pain, though. I was very much with Scotland, and they just had 10 minutes of mental stuff. And the rest of the game, I felt like they played really well, actually. I felt a bit robbed, really.
Yeah.
Got the money on the England game, just about, by the skin of my teeth on the under.
Yeah, that was a good
swing as well. Done my money on Newcastle, along with everyone else.
Yeah, it seems like the whole world did their money.
Ups and downs. I think I just about, kept the wolf from the door last week, not too bad.
Good for you.
Food on the table.
Well, that's good to know. And a new guest on the punter.
Oh, my word!
Dave Nevinson from Badugi.com. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, Sitting next to Neil again, a few of the old stories of the racecourse daily tragedy comes back.
Yeah, when I was a bookmaker at the races, Dave used to be, because Dave has a system of betting where he bets virtually every horse in every race. We used to see a lot of each other.
Yeah, trying to include the winner was the difficult thing, but it's funny.
And you're now heavily involved with Badugi.com, which we're going to talk about later in the show.
Absolutely.
But it's an interactive betting game that
and
looks like a lot of fun.
We call it the world's first social betting website. So we haven't been sued yet for that claim. So hopefully, hopefully it's still true.
And do you still find time to bet yourself and punt yourself?
Yeah, I'm much less involved than I was. It's fair to say. I mean, I was literally 24/7 horse racing. I think I was possibly the hardest working man in showbiz. Second. So I was racing every single day for 17 years on the track, just about. But Badugi's taken over that. Every dog has his day. My day, I'd like to say it hasn't gone yet, but certainly going in other directions.
You've still got the magic touch by getting some tips.
Absolutely,
of course. Well, we're going to start actually with Cheltenham, which is not very far away now at all, and some very significant races this week that affected the market. So I want to talk to the guys about that. One of the biggest betting events of the year, of course. And Russ, some developments this week that have changed things a little bit.
Well, I mean, I got back from Newbury today, Nick, and I mean, we've seen some terrific racing there today. Obviously, some of the main contenders have taken their chances. We've seen some correction in the markets, but we've got a situation now from a general point of view where, in some of these big championship races, we touched on it last week, and also some of the kind of periphery races, we've got some very short price favourites. We've never seen this kind of market before.
Well, last week we were talking about the 4 championship races, having short races, and then you've got to add in now the Arkle as well.
And it's extended to the Arkle and also Quavega in the Mares Hurdle, and there may be 1 or 2 others. But we're looking at probably 7 very short priced horses that, I mean, we touched on it last week, as I said, the combination of which any kind of permutations really could be tragic for the industry. I know that the guys here would be, what I'd call value punters, but even students of the game like Dave and Neil would suggest that these horses will probably get the job done, and it really is quite stressful for bookmakers at the moment.
Yeah, the only thing I would say about that is, but I think it was 2008 and 2009, I went heavily on buying the favourites and selling the SPs at Cheltenham, way out of my comfort zone.
Right.
I got absolutely wiped out.
Okay.
So, and the bookmakers have started again this year. We've got all these short price favourites. They're all going to win. We've got no chance. We've got the punters are just, and for 2 years, Yeah, it took me a long time to get back from Cheltenham. Of course, the year that I didn't do it, it actually happened last year.
Yeah, I was there. That was the year when I bought a pitch on the front row at Cheltenham. I think 12 favourites won that year. I lost the whole tank for the week. I think 3 races in, I'd done the whole tank for the week, basically.
And Cheltenham is for punters that perhaps are recreational punters, they might not appreciate just how critical it is to the entire year, especially if you're just trading horse racing.
Very, very big for the industry, obviously. I mean, you know, oftentimes you'll hear people like Russ talking a lot of nonsense about how they've laid things to lose 100 grand and this and that. But this is proper figures, Cheltenham. I mean, Ladbrokes, I think, put their figures out today.
Yeah.
And they were saying, oh, you know, we're profits are a bit down because, you know, there's been a few favourites winning in the football. Cheltenham literally makes a difference to the share price of these companies.
Amazing.
You know, it's big.
Well, let's take a look at some prices then. We'll start with the Gold Cup, which we've just put up on screen. And Long Run, of course, is the favourite and ran today, and people are not impressed. So that's affected it a bit.
I think that's fair. We were 2-1. We pushed it out to 9-4. You can see there's 5-2 around. We've made a statement here. We believe that the front two are worth taking on. I actually believe that, backing up the company's view myself, this is the kind of race I believe we might get a result. Midnight Chase, massive front runner. 14-1 shot. I think Long Run needs to make
I quite like Midnight Chase.
Yeah, I think well back in the last couple of weeks as well.
Outside of that, though, I mean, you know, where are you going to get your result? Burton Point today, the people saying he didn't really give it a brilliant ride, Barry Geraghty.
It's very unusual when it came to the last. He just seemed to just accept defeat and then realise that the other horse was tying up.
Yeah. But people saying maybe it's not really a thorough stayer. I don't know whether I want to.
He seems to stay on in the Hennessy and stayed on today. I think the problem with Long Run is that I think he's perfectly well suited to Cheltenham, and he might actually be a different
factor,
horse.
Yeah. Cheltenham's such a unique.
Yeah, I think Koto Star's there for the housewives. It really is there just to make the book.
And Grand Cru, does this run in the race? You think?
Well, I don't know whether I think it might be a good year to run a novice. I mean, Esprit, if it was soft as well, which it probably won't be, but. Yeah, I personally think Long Run will win. Koto Star, I just think I'd be 8-1 that. You know, it's maybe not, but 4-1 perhaps.
4 would probably be enough to get the job done.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Neil, if we've got all these short price favourites, you're looking for value somewhere. Perhaps the Gold Cup's not the one you're massively excited about.
The Gold Cup's not one I'm massively excited about, but I am massively excited because all firms will be going.
It's just your natural state.
All firms will be going a quarter of the odds in all races at Cheltenham. Now, you know,
well,
I love to bet each way. They will for sure. Yeah, they are at the moment in the anti-post market, and they love to do that because it's a big. You know, these firms, they're in a price war situation. They like to have lost leaders.
Okay, Neil, you're stood there. You're going to go quarter the odds on the day, on the joints.
I definitely
each
wouldn't
way,
fancy
4-7 favourite.
No, exactly. I mean, as a punter, I'm licking my lips.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do think the bookmakers. I mean, they work out odds so that they win. If they've got an odds on Jolly, a nine-runner championship race, and you go quarter the odds the first 3, you cannot win.
Well, they did it in the Gold Cup 2 years ago, didn't they? When we had 4-6 Corto Star, 2-1 Denman, and 8-1 Bar.
I just want to know what Russ is going to do about.
No, I tell you what I think is different this year. I think. The last 2 years, we've seen some really dramatic offers and some ridiculous stuff from the whole industry trying to attract business. And obviously, we're all jostling for some market position. We look at Cheltenham as well as a way of recruiting new business. How do you lure punters away from other firms to come to you? It's by sticking your neck about and doing something that's probably out of the norm. So I do think we'll see some unique offers. I mean, these guys are very keen on non-run and no bet at the moment and that kind of stuff. I don't think there's such a willingness to do that from the industry at the moment, simply because there's so many short price horses and there's some filthy each way horses knocking around there that these guys will be really hoovering up. But at the moment, there's enough out there, I think, for punters to really look forward to. I do think on the day of the races this year, we're going to see some dramatic stuff from all the firms. I know my own firm on the Wednesday, we're sponsoring the Sportingbet.com Queen Mother Champion Chase. I know we've got something in the pipeline. It's going to cost us money. It's just a question of how much money. You can be pessimistic about that, but it's a fact. It will cost us great money.
The day that the firms go non-run and no bet, it's like waking up on Christmas morning for me. I'm so excited when I open the paper and read that news.
I'll tell you what that means. I want to go non-run and no bet on the day of the race. That's what I'm going to teach you lessons today.
Well, let's see if we can find you a present in the Arkle, because that's changed perhaps over the last bit of time. we've got a shorter price favourite now.
Well, we went 6-4 straight after the race, 7-2 Peddler's Cross. Sprinter Sacre, by the way, it pulled the entire way, didn't settle at all, jumped beautifully. There was a suspicion from our horse racing trader, who is quite shrewd. He's an ex-Sportingbet guy, he's a good trader, Gav Ford. He thought that maybe the horse was a little bit too keen. We did get hit quite hard. I think we took about £8,000 total, just to give you an idea, at 6-4, no more than that. They're not in one bet, in a series of bets, and we're now 5-4. But these guys might have an opinion on it. I still thought that maybe if you were that keen at Cheltenham, it wouldn't be such a penalty kick as what people suggested.
Do you remember there was an advert on TV a few years ago with horse race when there was an advert or a sketch show. A jockey used to be kind of like relaxing and having a chat while the other one was. That was what the race was like, wasn't it? Right. It was like that. It was like, just having a fag or whatever.
So if we're looking for value to take on this,
we haven't seen it under pressure, this horse, have we? And Cheltenham. Well, maybe not. Yeah. I think if we're talking about the strategy of the bookmakers on the day, I think when they look at these two races on that day and they say, which one do I want to get stuck into? Is it going to be Hurricane Fly or is it going to be Sprinter Sacre? And Sprinter Sacre is going to come first as well. Yeah. That's the second race on the card, whereas Hurricane Fly is going to be the third race. This is the one they're going to take on out of the two, I think, and then they'll see how they get on and decide whether to take on Hurricane Fly.
The problem is if they take on Sprinter Sacre and it wins, they'll have to take on Hurricane Fly
to try and get their money back.
Then it could be
And there's a story developing there. There's a treble obviously on the first day: Sprinter Sacre, Hurricane Fly, and Quavega. At the moment, even experts are suggesting that all three of those are.
Well, I mean, we're discounting Peddler's Cross.
Isn't that always the case when you get these short price horses and these short price things in big sporting occasions? It always seems like there's an inevitability, but that isn't.
Yeah, there's always one that comes to rescue the bookies. Bless them, they need it.
But because the odds are that will be.
Yeah, I mean, odds are odds. There's still a chance that it might not happen.
This race, by the way, though, this race just what a wonderful each way bet you've got there with Alfarif and Peddler's Cross. I mean, I can't really have Manora.
No, can't jump. Q Card looks to run from one side of the track to another.
I mean, you can put a line through quite a lot of these other ones quite easily. These two horses look at a quarter of the odds. They just look so solid.
I don't think anyone's been absolutely staggeringly impressed with Peddler's Cross. I was hugely impressed with Sprinter Sacre. I don't really buy into that pulling. He was pulling because he just had so much more.
He's pulling, doing that. Can I show off, please?
Exactly. Yeah. No, it looked all very contained to me. Okay. And he'll be fresh. He was fresh for this race. I think he'll be more relaxed at Cheltenham. I just think it's a good thing.
In opposing him. Okay. Well, let's move it on to the Champion Hurdle, because that's the other race which is. Perhaps had a little bit of movement this week, and I don't think we've listed it before actually. But Champion Hurdle-wise, anything exciting for you, Neil?
Well, the news this morning is that Badugi has had a setback, and it's having treatment for some kind of problem. And I don't know, Nicky Henderson hasn't been too famous for being open and honest and frank about what's happening in his stable. So there must be a doubt about it even going to Cheltenham at all. Binocular runs tomorrow in a race that's probably going to turn out to be not much of a race. But that's a horse that's a bit dodgy and not one I'd really like to get stuck into. Zarkanda won the big Betfair Hurdle earlier on today. It wasn't very impressive. I didn't think. I don't know. Well, it carried a big weight, and he said it wasn't.
Big weight and a low mark, though. It's only 145. You've got to be 170 to win a Champion Hurdle.
I'm not really falling over myself to get on Zarkanda. So, it is kind of hard to see where the opposition's going to come from. I see you guys have gone 5-6, Russ. What's the feeling there?
Well, the feeling is that we want to be against it. Obviously, we've been the bigger deal for us at the moment is this 20-1, the big four. So obviously that's and we've already touched on. That's the key race for the festival for me. This is the one. It binds so much. Because if that was to win, everything's in play, isn't it? And I think that's why we're kind of we're pinning our hopes on a few of these horses. Mick Fitzgerald's been very key on Zarkanda. I mean, maybe that's not a reason to get too excited about it, but I mean, we're hoping that we can get this Hurricane Fly turned over. And like I say, the last 8 times it's run, there's been some sort of negative story about the horse. Maybe one of these will prove to be
there was a heat in the leg last week, wasn't there, apparently?
Don't you think?
The story
I'm a big one for thinking that even money is like a key resistance point. If a horse is close to even money, there'll always be a bookmaker on the day that wants to go even money because then they get the headline. They get
I think that's evens.
This one is 4-6 with Hills and Ladbrokes at the moment. Yeah.
Really?
No one's going to go even.
Somebody will do it just for the,
No,
for
they
the
won't.
PR value.
For
I mean, when you
about-
saw what
for
happened with
a
big
minute
bucks last
a
year.
minute and a half, maybe.
It's
Do it
possible.
for a minute and a half.
I think
Get it out there.
you might be right though. Like Ladbrokes and Hills,
someone will do it.
maybe Ladbrokes and Hills are thinking, let's duck it now, avoid all this early money, have it running for us in the book anti-post, and then on the day we can go evens and open a massive load of new accounts, and we don't have to really lay it for that long, maybe just for an hour or so.
Well, I mean, you saw some of the stuff that went last year with big books. People went some incredible prices in the morning, and I think Ladbrokes
that race
done it as
doesn't
well.
have the sort of kudos and the volume that something like the Champion Hurdle would have.
But it is day one, isn't it? If
Yeah.
you do this on day one, you get the punters for the rest of the week then.
No,
They're in
absolutely.
your shop
Yeah, yeah.
on day one. I could see Ladbrokes and Hills
It's
doing
so
that.
interesting how Cheltenham has its own dynamic and has its own universe, and what happens throughout the week changes and affects what happens.
Well,
later
also,
in
like the bookmaker's strategy is very little to do with what they actually think is going to win the race. When it the strategy now, when we're seeing, Sprinter Sacra run really impressively today, and people are going 6-4 and whatever, that's all very much to do with do we think it's going to win the race. Come the day, if someone goes evens, it's not because they think Hurricane Fly is going to get beat. It's just because they want to sign up some new accounts.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
all right.
interesting. Yeah.
Great stuff. Well, we'll obviously keep you informed of all of the market moves before Cheltenham, and then Cheltenham week will be huge. We're going to do the FA Cup football weekend after this. Welcome back to the Punter, and we've done the Cheltenham Festival, we've done horse racing, we can do a little bit of football, why not? It's FA Cup weekend, which will fill some of you with joy, some of you with despondency, but from a betting point of view, probably interesting. It gets matchups from different divisions, and we'll see how that plays out. Not perhaps the kindest draw from an excitement point of view, maybe.
No, there's not many games here that are really jumping out, but we've lost some really good sides as well, haven't we? And we're kind of down to it. But there's some really good opportunities for sort of lower middle teams to win this competition now. I mean, I know Neil's sitting on a couple of decent vouchers. I mean, it's
So
one of them for the charity, one of them for the kids.
One for the kids. Yeah.
But I think it's. I mean, looking at the turnover generally across the industry, it doesn't match up to, say, a Champions League midweek.
So this will be interesting for people. It's the FA Cup doesn't see as much action as the
No,
Champions
it
League,
doesn't. And I don't want to go around saying that it does. It's a huge turnover weekend. It doesn't see as much money as Champions League. It certainly doesn't see as much money as Premier League football.
Yeah.
But it's still got its place, and there are still going to be some great in-running, in-play games. A lot of live games as well, which adds to the excitement as well, which is key. So
absolutely. Well, let's just to introduce the topic, let's have a look at the odds to win the FA Cup. Neil, we know you've got a bet on Sunderland, and we also know you touted Norwich.
Yeah, and
who
Stoke
were 100 to
as well.
1, of course.
Yeah, I think I said on the very first show that we talked about it, I think I mentioned 4 teams.
Yeah,
and
I mean that's almost cheating, isn't it?
Two of them played each other, and 3 of them are still in.
That's not bad.
So what can I say?
No, not bad.
Sunderland, 50 to 1, and Norwich. I'll tell you what, I managed to burgle a bit of 33s yesterday, and I think it's still a great bet. Really, I think they're going to go through, and I couldn't put anyone off topping up there. With these 3 very short teams, obviously it really comes down to the draw in the next round. You really, if you're going to bet. Like I've bet Stoke again this week at 22 to 1. If you're going to bet Stoke and Norwich now, you badly want Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham, Arsenal to draw each other. And that's, I'm going to be glued to the draw, definitely.
Yeah. And do you have a particular approach this weekend? Are you going to you'll presumably be betting in play?
Yeah, I've got a couple. I've got a couple of fancies. You want to know them straight away?
Well, we'll go through the games and see if that's any of them. I think that's probably the easiest thing. Chelsea Birmingham is one of the first ones of the weekend, and Chelsea obviously lost last weekend, but home to Birmingham, you would think would be.
At the moment, I mean, obviously we're 4 on there, but I mean, I do look at Chelsea as being a team that are. You're paying a premium for a team who's just not doing the business at the moment. And we still see them put in so many accumulators and all kinds of bets. They really are now in big trouble, aren't they? I mean, they were desperate last week. All the reports were of that. I mean, 4 to 1 on. It doesn't make any kind of appeal at all, does it? And Birmingham, even the team, I think they've lost like 25 players, would you believe, since last season. And they've had to restore everything. Chris Hughton's done an incredible job, touted for some managers' jobs here. But it's a big ask to go to Stamford Bridge and win at 8 to 1, isn't it? But it makes no appeal to me, that kind of price for Chelsea.
No. Neil, you're sort of bet.
I'm not very interested in this game. No, are they on TV again? This is like the 3rd time Birmingham have been on TV in this tournament.
Well, they've been provide quality entertainment.
Oh, really? I don't know. I wouldn't want to bet Chelsea at big odds on. I mean, I think Abramovich has been turning up at the training ground and putting a bit of pressure on this week.
Yeah.
I guess they'll probably win, but I won't be having any kind of bet in this game.
No, not particularly.
There'll be no shortage of things on the back page if they do get beat.
That's true.
And I just think that when a team gets into this position, you can beat themselves. It doesn't matter about the opposition. No one's putting up Birmingham to win, but it's whether Chelsea can actually go out and win the game. And you're paying four times the money to find out. And I don't think even the most adamant of Chelsea fan will walk into a betting shop on his way to Stamford Bridge and have 4,000 to win one on his current team, because no one wants to back Chelsea. But pricing it up must be a nightmare for a bookie, because you could get filled in, and the day after at 5 o'clock, your manager's on your bet, or 2 o'clock in this case, the manager's going to saying, why the hell did you go biggest price Chelsea? There were certainties. Yeah. But the gut feeling amongst everyone here, and I would imagine most fans, is that Chelsea are currently beatable.
Yeah. OK, well, we're on football, so let's bring our other resident punter, Gordon Watson. Flash is on the line. Flash, anything different to say about this Chelsea game? Seems pretty straightforward, doesn't it?
Yeah, pretty straightforward. It's a good analogy. I think that Chelsea will probably stumble over the line. I've got the game as Chelsea to win 2-1. You just can't say anything about it other than Chelsea should win, and that's it.
OK, I think we'll move on. Let's move on to a slightly more interesting game. Sunderland Arsenal, really interesting, especially with Arsenal not only travelling midweek but also being rubbish. Which people would have perhaps been interested in Sunderland before that. I wonder if they'll overreact to the fact that Arsenal struggled in May.
Well, obviously I'm in bookmaking, but also I'm a punter. And last week, Nick, this was a desperate result for me. I mean, we're 1-0 up with about, 20 minutes to go, Sunderland this game. Everything's going quite sweetly, and all of a sudden Arsenal have fought back to do it. But since then, obviously, they've been to the San Siro, had it handed to them 4-0. And we haven't really seen a massive change in the odds. There are better prices available in the industry, but I don't see how we can be with Arsenal going on the condition of what they did in midweek and also last week. So, for me, I'm happy to take them on. But we have seen money for them, would you believe, even at 5-4 amongst our loyal punters, which is quite surprising, isn't it, really?
I think in Asia it's closer to 13-8, and the way it is with Arsenal, Thierry Henry scored the goal, the winning goal. Yeah, I heard Dennis Bergkamp and Charlie George might get a game this week. So,
I saw Frank McClintock on the plane from Gibraltar on Wednesday, so maybe he's coming back to you.
Last week they were 11-10 to win this game.
I'm missing Alan, who is usually here to do his I'm a self-hating Arsenal fan.
And he'd be in full overdrive now.
I know, we'll have to make sure we pick him up next week.
I did actually see, because Alan was writing in the Racing Post about this game, and he said, he made a good point that Sunderland, maybe last week they started to get tired because they'd been involved in extra time against Middlesbrough in their previous game, and maybe this week Arsenal will start to get tired because they got less time to rest from after the Champions League.
The news has come through that Per Mertesacker out for a month, so that might help them. I love that joke. Flash, Arsenal are friendless. Can you perhaps go the other way on this, or are you not?
Yeah, I was with Arsenal last week, and obviously 90th minute was very lucky. But again, I think that Arsenal need to respond, and I think the professionalism they will respond, and they will get it done. I think that Wenger won't carry anybody, so the boys that he puts out there, they have to be right up for the job. I've got Arsenal to win 2-0.
Flash, what do you reckon to this argument that, not having so many days to recover and having such a big match in midweek? They're supposed to be professional sports people, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. A lot of it's mental tiredness, and I'd go with the analogy of they got beat 4-0 the other night and they didn't even have a game. And there is no travelling from here to Italy. It's mainly like what Stoke went through earlier on in the year in the Europa League when they had to go to Israel and they went to Ukraine. So again, Italy and normally Europe, I wouldn't be that bothered about, to be honest. I think it's an excuse.
Okay, should be an interesting game. Should be a fun one from a betting point of view as well. Let's look at a more classical FA Cup tie, shall we? Crawley Town against Stoke. Plucky underdogs trying to overturn the odds. But will Stoke do it? That's the big question.
Got any views?
Pardon?
I've got no views in this one.
You've got no views?
Well, actually, funnily enough, I have a strong view in this one.
Oh, here we go.
Well,
we're off and running.
Last time I checked, Crawley Town were in the second division and Stoke were in the Premier.
I couldn't agree more.
How is Stoke not big odds on to win this match? It's just, I know Crawley have done really well to get this far, and I'm not belittling their efforts, and they're doing very well in the league. I think they're like 5th in their division, but Stoke City are a Premier League team. They're not in the relegation zone. They're not a bad side. I mean, they don't play the prettiest football in the world, but I think there's a right good bet.
They will definitely be backed in the last 15 minutes before kick-off.
Stoke?
Stoke will definitely.
Okay.
I mean,
That normally
absolutely
happens,
no,
doesn't it, in
no
these
question.
ones?
It's a live game. The fact that it's on Sunday as well. I mean, I'm assuming that all of the bookmakers want to see that kind of money because it is a generous price. You could probably go shorter and still see that kind of money coming in later on.
So. When I opened the paper,
it's an interesting price. Definitely.
I thought this one would be like 4 to 6 or something like that. I was really surprised.
Flash, it is extraordinary to see a Premier League team at that price against a team like Crawley Town. Crawley Town not even on form. They lost last time out.
Yeah, I mean, if we go back a few months when we said Bristol Rovers versus Aston Villa, and everyone wanted to get stuck into Aston Villa, I think they've really missed the game there. Now, this one for me is more for Stoke. I mean, I could see if Stoke were 4 to 7, you'd still look at them and think that they were excellent value. Stoke won't mess about. Crawley are struggling, and also they've lost their top scorer in Matt Tubbs, who went to Bournemouth. So I cannot make any case for Crawley whatsoever. And Stoke, they just roll their sleeves up and they get the job done. So for me, it's Stoke all the way, and I'm with Channers.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity. Now we have to talk about Liverpool, unfortunately. Liverpool at home to Brighton, and it's on the telly again. I don't know why they keep putting my team on the telly because they're not exactly enjoyable to watch. They never score and they never concede. It's a disaster. Should be a routine win, you'd have thought. Russ, we've talked about Liverpool and how they're backed a lot. Any difference in the price?
I mean, we've got 11 to 1 about Brighton. We've got huge about Brighton in this game. I mean, Liverpool was so disappointing when they last week, but they're still the most well-backed team considering their league position and their form every single week. There's no question about that. But they tend to get the job done, don't they, in these kind of games? But again. 5 to 1, and if Punter wants to take that, good luck to them.
Corals are very short, actually,
Yeah.
Brighton.
Yeah.
I think there's 14 to 1
Oh,
Brighton
really?
out and about.
What would they need to be to interest you? If I said you could have whatever price on
I'm
Brighton.
marginally interested at these kind of prices. I mean, I think Liverpool to be leading at half-time will probably be around about 2 to 1 on in this game. Maybe 4 to 7, and I might be quite interested in laying that.
I was going to say, I hope you weren't going to say you were going to go with it.
No, I'll be interested in laying that.
Yeah.
I think Brighton they might be able to hold out for a bit of time in this, and maybe draw at half time at sort of 2 to 1 or something. That might interest me.
There you go. That's the beauty of this show. Looks like a very straightforward game. We actually found an angle for you, and we're going to talk about Stevenage Spurs, another classic FA Cup tie, if you like. The big team going away to the smaller team. I think it's on the telly. Stevenage, any friends?
Well, we've sent obviously as a betting partner for Spurs, we've sent a few Spurs fans to this game. I mean, there's such great feeling about Spurs at the moment. Everything they do, they just seem to have enough players that, I've been at the training ground the last couple of weeks, seeing what's going on there. They seem to just be in great condition, feeling good about themselves. The 100 to 30 on threes on generally in the game. I can understand that kind of price as well. But if you're looking for a giant killing performance, great. But it's a good running game because if we can get to 20 minutes 0-0, you can start maybe trading it a little bit. There's some options available to punters, but it really is important that Spurs do not start like they did last week and score 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. Nick. That's not going to help anyone.
Dave, you weren't excited?
Well, no, I haven't got any excitement. But I'd rather, if I was going to back a big odds-on team this week, I'd back Spurs rather than Chelsea or or Liverpool. I just think they're just going to win, and I suspect they probably will. The form that they're in and the mood that they're in, I don't think they'll do Stevenage any favours. They'll just go out and destroy them.
Flash, any interest in this game? And if you don't like this one, any giant killings or upsets that you do like this weekend?
Well, yeah, there's something because obviously Liverpool versus Brighton I wanted to go back to because I fancy there'll be a red card in that game because Brighton are the worst niggly side about, and they will put their foot in. They are a bit like Poyet and Tarico, and I fancy there'll be a red card in that game. Now, going on to this game, Stevenage, they are the fittest side. We've mentioned it before. They really are. They work from like 9 till 5 every single day of the week. Now, for me, if they can get tight with Tottenham, then obviously I think they'll be... Give it an hour, it might still be a very tight game, but obviously I expect Tottenham to run out winners late on. But again, if it is tight, then you're going to get an opportunity to play him running.
Yeah. And anything else this weekend? We'll do your picks later on, but just anything you want to tip up in terms of interest or upsets?
I quite like Leicester at Norwich. I mean, Leicester are really well organised. I think that they're on a par with Norwich, as in stature and size of club, and obviously the two managers are really tactically aware. So I've gone for like Leicester to win at Norwich 1-0, and I've gone for Blackpool to get something at Everton. I really don't fancy Everton are going to roll over Blackpool, so I'd lay Everton and I'd lay Norwich.
Okay, Flash, we'll get your specific picks later in the show. And I think that'll do it for the FA Cup. More football picks at the end of the show from Flash and others. Got a really exciting new betting opportunity to talk to you about after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Punter. Now, we're always trying to find you the value on the show and also bring you fun and interesting ways to bet. And there's a brand new betting site you're not going to miss out on. It's called Badugi.com. It's a socially interactive betting site. And you can turn a small amount into a big amount. You can also play with your friends. So let's get a little taste of it, shall we? And it just so happens we've got one of the people behind it in the studio to tell us more. Dave, I've found out a little bit about it, had a little look. It looks like a lot of fun. Just explain to people how it works a little bit for us.
Well, more the aim of Badugi. I think football's been missing a pool bet that people can interact with each other and really get involved and show the benefit of their opinion to both their mates and the public at large. So really the idea is, I grew up in an age when the football pools were something that every single high street,
Absolutely,
everyone's dad did the pools.
Yeah.
You know, not everyone's dad won it, unfortunately, which is I don't think. But so, and I do think the world is ready for an interactive, social-based game that hopefully will be what the football pools was in the 70s and 80s, and we think we've got a good stab at it.
So it's that great thing of being able to bet a small amount or like invest a small amount to back your opinion and potentially scoop.
Yeah, I mean that's our flagship game. You know, the Saturday afternoon big game is what we want to emulate the pools company, business. But essentially, punters play for a set amount. They define their stake, whether it's £2, 10 quid, 50 quid, and they might want to play on a 12-player table, 25-player table, 50-player table, much as you would in an online poker tournament.
So this is great. So you can basically play with your friends or your office.
You can, yeah.
or whatever.
We have things called social games where you can just email or Facebook or tweet your contacts, invite them to play on your game. You can set up a game on the matches that you want to include in that game. We have our standard flagship game on a Saturday afternoon, which is usually 5 matches, the 3 o'clock kickoffs, because really what we're trying to generate is excitement, because every time a goal goes in, the leaderboard changes, and
right.
you could be top of the shop after 10 minutes, and you can be absolutely nowhere next, and then back up again. You know.
So players are picking results, and they're also picking players, individuals that they want to perform.
There's a basic component to the game. You've got to pick a result, a correct score, and 3 anytime goal scorers, and you get more points as you're more correct. So, for instance, if you'd pick 2-1 in a game, and at 70 minutes it was 2-1, and you'd happen to nominate all 3 of those scorers as your goal scorers, you'd be flying high. The moment it goes 2-2 or 3-1, all of a sudden your correct score's wrong, so you lose points and someone else overtakes you, and they've got a different goal scorer. So it's all about sort of guys in pubs watching, hopefully Sports Night Live, watching the Badugi leaderboard on their phone, and 80 minutes they're in front for £2. They're going to win a few thousand.
It's phone-based as well, so you can play it on the phone. So that's
our app is actually stuck in the sausage factory that is Apple. They're my most, I don't know where this is going, but we're not particularly keen on Apple at the moment. But our web online enhanced, mobile site is ready across all platforms.
Perfect.
And we're online.
Yeah. It sounds like a lot of fun, doesn't it? It's got that thing where you're backing your judgment, which is all punters really want to do.
Absolutely, and I mean, football betting generally never been bigger, never been better now. I think it's kind of reaching a whole new audience as well. And I mean, obviously, I know this is making a lot of waves in the industry already. Lots of big firms already sniffing around Dave. I think he's fending them off at the moment. But it's got a real chance.
Look, he's sniffing around you, David.
Well, that's
terrific.
not that you've been sniffed around
It's
before.
better than
Dave,
knocking
sorry.
on your door.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean it. But no. But genuinely, it has got that interactive element to it. It has got that fun. I do know quite a lot about it because, as I said, people are very interested in what Badugi are doing.
We're not pretending that we're trying to compete with the bookmakers. In fact, one of our sales pitches assigned is that we're trying to offer the game as something that engage the bookmakers' audience so that they can have a Badugi game going on their site and actually launch their own traditional products while they're going on. So engaging with punters and reacting with them.
Key question we've got this far into the interview without me asking is, why is it called Badugi? I don't understand what that is.
If you ever want to set up a .com or a .co.uk, you try and find a site that's actually available.
It's just literally the combination of letters.
What you do is you start in a pub at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you finish at about 2 o'clock in the morning, and you go with the best one that you've got. So it's a we just wanted something that was, we were going to be Punt Daddy, we were going to be, there's going to be
Punt
all
Daddy,
I'll save that one, I'll sell it.
I might nick that one.
Can we call this show Punt Daddy?
Absolutely. But we just thought that it means nothing, but it's 6 letters, 3 vowels, 3 consonants, and if you say it enough, you actually start to like it. That's what I find.
Yeah. Well, we'll make sure we do that. Well, we're going to actually play the game a little bit because we're going to get our resident punter, Flash, to play it for us. And there's a particular reason why we're going to do that, which we'll talk about in a second. But Flash, you've had a look and you're going to have a play for everybody, aren't you?
It's quite exciting because obviously, as Dave just said, you could be nowhere with 10 minutes to go. You've said your team's going to win 2-0 and it's 0-0, and then you win 2-0 and both your goal scorers come up. So yeah, I'm quite excited by it.
Excellent. And do you have any kind of, having had a little look at it, any kind of different approach to picking what you're going to back on here as opposed to generally what you're going to back?
Yeah, basically, I think you've just got to add the goal scorers in, and also something else that Dave said. But it's all about building your points. So you want to go for the obscure sometimes because most people are going to go for like your Rooney, your Torres, your Van Persie. Whereas, I'm going to give you my selections in a minute, and you'll see they are quite left field. Yeah,
let's do that, Flash. Let's see. Let's rattle through the games. Chelsea, Birmingham. You've got one for us.
Yeah, well, I've gone for Chelsea 2, Birmingham 1, and I've gone for Jordan Much, the young boy, middle of the park for Birmingham to
wow,
score.
you've gone really left field. You've got Torres scoring.
Well, exactly. I didn't think anyone would think of Torres. And what about the other Chelsea player everyone's forgotten about, which is Flora Malouda? So, if he scores, then I think I'll be out on my own there.
Okay, so this is interesting. You only get 8 points for Torres. Dave,
well,
he doesn't score.
To be honest, the points, they're derived from fixed odds of bookmaker anytime goal scorers. So we just convert the points. We don't have our own odds compilers. So
understood.
I'm always fascinated that every time this tissue comes through, Torres is always nearly favourite to score.
Yeah.
Well, I would never include him in my list. And so far, I've been right.
Yeah. But as you can see, if you're thinking about playing the game, if you get it right and you hit something like Much,
absolutely.
Yeah. Fantastic. Okay, Flash, so let's move on. We'll go through a couple of games. Sunderland, Arsenal.
Yeah, Sunderland, I've gone for Arsenal to win, obviously 2-0, but you get to pick 3 goal scorers. So I've gone for, again, left field of Arshavin, Rosicky and Vermaelen.
Interesting. It's a great sweat, isn't it? Because you've got 3 goal scorers working for you in each game.
The idea when we were devising the game is that we want punters to be in for the entire match. And that's what we're trying to sell engagement and excitement for a small amount of money and hopefully a big pot.
Okay, Flash, Crawley Town, Stoke.
No, Crawley Town, Stoke's not one of ours because that's Sunday. We're doing the Saturday games.
What's the next one you've got?
I've got Everton and Blackpool.
Okay, yeah.
I've gone for Everton 1, Blackpool 1. I've gone for Taylor Fletcher for Blackpool, and I've gone for 2 Everton goal scorers because even though I could be wrong with Everton winning maybe 2-1, I've got Fellaini and Johnny Heitinger. Again, I've picked a centre-half to score from set piece because if they score, I get something like 70 points.
You just want the big points, I know. You just want the big hit.
Well, that's the name of the game. Don't get
yeah, but I just don't want.
Quick, Nick,
I just don't want my future riding on Johnny Heitinger lashing one in for 25 yards. That's all.
Yeah, but the thing is, you will be thinking of me if he does.
That is true. That is very true. Absolutely. And one more for us.
I've gone for Bolton to win 1-0 away at Millwall. I watched Millwall twice in the last 3 weeks, and obviously they beat Southampton. I think they're a struggle, and I've gone for 3 Bolton goal scorers in Mark Davis, Ngo, and Darren Pratley.
Okay, and I'm told you got Norwich-Leicester as well, so let's have a look at Norwich-Leicester.
Yeah, I've gone for Leicester to win 1-0. I mean, I was so close for this game to be a 0-0 draw and be brave and put down no goal scorer. But I went with 1-0 Leicester, and my Leicester goal scorers are Gallagher and Lloyd Dyer. And for Norwich, if they were to get a goal, then some sort of consolation in Andrew Sermon.
Okay, great. Thank you, Flash. And Dave, there's a reason for Flash making those picks. We've got a little offer for people watching.
What we're going to do, people who play tomorrow's game, anyone who finishes in front of Flash on his selection on our Saturday afternoon, those 3 o'clock, the 3 games that kick off at 3 o'clock, anyone who finishes in front of Flash gets a free roll on another game straight away. They get their money for nothing.
Okay, that's nice. So you're not only playing against each other, but you're all playing against Flash.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And to be honest, we want a few more of the panel in as the game goes on. And yeah, you'll pick your own expert and stick it up him every Saturday afternoon.
Well,
Neil, ready for it to be stuck up?
My main problem there was 15 goal scorers, I think Flash mentioned. I'd heard of Torres.
As a goal scorer.
That was there, and he's not even a goal scorer. So, yeah, we're struggling. It's interesting. I think the other thing that will definitely happen is that a strategy will evolve, because it always does with games like this.
I mean, we've been going now really since August. You know, the marketing push has just started, if you like, with this programme. So we're hoping to now start getting customers. But we've got a few hardline players, and hearing them chat, they can chat to each other on what we call our banter board. And they're all talking about usually how bad the other person's strategy was and why they didn't pick the one that they obviously got right.
Right.
But and sometimes in fairly choice language, or there's quite a few asterisks come up on the site every now and again. But it's great to see, you know, the amount of thought that people put into this game, you know, for a couple of quids, and I know that they're getting entertainment out of it.
You can't beat people backing their opinions.
No, absolutely.
That's what it's all about. And that's what this show's about. Great stuff from our betting partners for this weekend, Badugi.com. Do check it out. After the break, more picks for you from the weekend. We will find you the value. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Punter. Lots more picks and value to find as we go into the section of the show which we like to call Neil Channing Loses Money. No, we don't call it that. He's doing rather well at the moment, actually, aren't you?
Really? I don't know. Last week was a bit... I was interested when we were talking about Badugi, because Dave was saying about how you can turn a little bit into a lot, whereas a lot of Saturdays this season I've started with a lot and ended up with just a little. But
well, if you haven't seen the show before, we give Neil £500 for charity, and he tries to make it into more money. Here's what happened last week when you had Scotland to beat Wales.
A bit unlucky, I have to say. I mean, I think I don't like.
You should get your money back for unlucky, though.
You should really.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't. When it actually came to it, I didn't really stake it quite. I did stake quite heavily on Norwich personally. So I actually.
Yeah, you did, and you should get a second shout out for that, because I think most of the rest of the betting community didn't fancy them at all.
They all fancied Swansea, didn't they? There was a big Asian move for Swansea. But yeah, Newcastle, Tottenham, we knew our fate quite early. I switched over and watched the rugby.
So overall lost £50, so kind of got out of it, I guess.
Yeah, it wasn't
too bad.
Too great.
What about this week? I think this is going to be a big week. I can feel it.
Well, I've lumped it on. I've lumped it on.
Oh, you've lumped it
short ones.
Okay.
I'm a little bit despondent to hear.
You just want some winners. You're just trying to get back in the game.
To be honest, you know, like I love the Premier. I don't like the FA Cup quite so much, and we've done some outright stuff already. The charity bets are on, you know, Sunderland already at 50-1. I hope I've steered a few people onto Norwich at 100-1, but I really like Norwich still. I thought that I'm a little despondent here. Flash really likes Leicester, but I think Norwich are really underrated. Almost every week they look like value to me, and I think people really haven't caught on. There's a basis change in Norwich, and I don't think people have realised it. For a team where they are in the Premier, I'm surprised they're not bigger odds on at home. And Stoke Crawley, we pretty much covered it already.
Like the weekend to me.
I mean, that looks a good bet to me as well.
Does look a good bet.
I'm just waiting for the screams on Sunday afternoon when they throw him out of the hat and it's going to team number 8, Norwich. Sunderland.
I've got Stoke as well. I'm on Stoke at 22 to 1. I bet them this week, and I'm on at 50. So hopefully, you never know.
In terms of our charity bets, it's Sunderland you've got, isn't it, on 50
The
to
kids
1?
are on Sunderland.
The kids
at
are on Sunderland
50
to 1.
So let's hope they
Should be
get
no
it.
problem.
Never misses an opportunity to press up, do you, as well? Pressing up at all
I like
times.
to press.
Press.
Why not? Why not? Let's check in with Flash and get his picks for the weekend. First of all, let's check in on last week. Flash, 2 for 4, I think.
Yeah, we had a game called off. The two harder games are the ones that I actually got. I did all right on. Man United obviously beating Liverpool. I stood alone, I think, in saying that I thought Man United would be far too good for Liverpool, and they were, even though it was only 2-1. And obviously, I got lucky with Omri popping up in the last minute to beat Sunderland. I'm pity Alan's not here today because.
I know we're all
been able to throw any arrows at him.
we're all missing Alan for that. I think we need him when Arsenal lose. If he's not here, we need to do it to like him to tape wherever he is 2 minutes of ranting.
But that's the reason he's not here, because Arsenal did so well. But then obviously he would have walked here after what happened in Milan the other night. But I would like you to go back and say, because I was quite strong on Queen's Park Rangers last week, and we thought that they'd take the game to Blackburn. I actually got beat 3-2 by Blackburn, and Blackburn had 2 shots on goal. So that's how unlucky that game was. I mean, I think that Queen's Park Rangers had something like 30 attempts on goal.
Flash, they did lose though.
No, but I've lost 3-2 to a team that only had 2 shots on goal.
How did they score twice with one of the shots?
Yeah, well, exactly. I can't believe it.
Good goal.
Against me.
I wish I'd have watched the highlights.
The bottom line with all that is that the noises coming out of Queen's Park Rangers were right. They actually did go and they absolutely battered Blackburn, but came back without nothing, like me.
And you lost. Okay. You are still well up for the show though. So let's get.
Yeah, but that's no good now, because I haven't really drawn as in my 5 for about the last 3 or 4 weeks.
You're only as good as your last 5.
Well, this is true. Well, let's turn it round then. Let's have a look at this week. What have we got on the slate?
Okay, well, I've gone for Tranmere and Cheltenham draw, because obviously I like to do 5-4 time as an acca, so if you put a draw in there. But this is the draw because no one likes to go to Tranmere. Cheltenham are an out-and-out footballing team. Well, I'll tell you what, I've got more grass on my patio than at Tranmere's pitch. Absolutely awful. And so I definitely think that will be a scruffy game, and that'll probably be a 1-1 draw. I've gone for Walsall to beat Wickham now. Wickham are really struggling away from home. Walsall, they're not pulling. They're struggling themselves, to be honest, but I think that they will get the job done. Swindon absolutely flying. They're away at Hereford. Shrewsbury, they're flying. They're away at Barnet. And the other one was Torquay at home to Bradford. And I think Torquay have something like 6 or 7 wins on the bounce. And Bradford, well, they're just ordinary. So I'm quite confident that at least 4 out of the 5 will cop. And if we've got the draw in there, then we're going to make money.
Okay, great stuff, Flash. As ever, we will hopefully turn it around this week from last week.
But my nap of the whole weekend, and obviously these are Saturday, my nap of the whole weekend is Stoke to win at Crawley.
Yeah, sounds like a great tipping. Everybody's in love with that one. Thanks, Flash. We'll check in with you next week.
Good luck, gentlemen. Channers, good luck, mate.
Yeah. Not with Leicester. I can't wish you good luck there.
Russ, what's going on with you this weekend?
So much good sport, Nick. I mean, we've touched on all the good football, but I mean, let's start looking at some Super League stuff as well. Some great punting opportunities in that. I do like the Catalan Dragons this week, giving up about 14 to Castleford, and also Huddersfield Giants. They're playing against Warrington, who are kind of the glamour boys of rugby league at the moment. They're getting 8 points there. Terrific handicap head start. And let's not forget Derek Chisora flying the flag for Great Britain there against one of the Klitschko's.
Briefly flying the flag, I suspect.
We noticed he's disguised himself as somebody else today and tried to slap him in the press conference. But you're getting 9 to 1.
Klitschko will definitely know who that was, I'm sure he will.
You're getting 9 to 1 about Chisora winning that, and I'm strongly recommending that nobody backs that at all. But let's cheer him on anyway. Let's get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. It's this problem with these boxing matches, if they are like this. It's hard to find a bet, I think, which is it's a shame.
We'll keep an eye on it because we do like boxing on the show.
Yeah, we do an awful lot. Neil, we were talking Oscars just before we came on the show, because you've got a charity bet going on with the Best Director, and I do need to give you credit on this because it was, I think the bet that you struck on the show 3 weeks ago, 7-4 on.
Yeah, we had the whole lot, the whole 500,
and
4-7. He's best price 5-1 on with Ladbrokes.
So fantastic.
But that movie scooped everything at the BAFTAs, didn't it? And he walked away with it. And so, I mean, 5's on might not be the worst 5 on.
So you'd be pressing, wouldn't you?
I think it's generally 8-1 on. Yeah, and I think 5-1 on is probably reasonable.
Yeah, and we were talking about it before and how it's become a little bit less interesting to bet on just because the predicting the Oscars has almost become more of a science.
One or two of the categories have gone a bit boring this year. You know, the best supporting, both for actor and actress, are sort of 20 to 1 on favourites. I think the artist is generally a 9 to 1 on chance to win the best film. But the actor and the actress are both, they're good betting heats. They're both absolute matches. George Clooney's a slight underdog to the artist fella. In the actor, I won't bother trying to say his name.
The quiet one.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Strong silent type.
Yeah, Clooney's about 11 to 10. So yeah, that one's kind of, he's kind of shortened up a bit in the last few days. And then I went to see. I don't go that often to the movies, but
wait, are you going to make betting recommendations based on your
no,
film?
I'm not. I'm definitely not going to do it on that. But I came out of watching Meryl Streep in the Thatcher thing, the Iron Lady, thinking that was a great impression she did. I don't know whether it was such a great performance, but all the money has been for this Viola Davis and for her film The Help. And she's been back
because she won the Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah, she won the Screen
Best
Actors
Predictor,
Guild.
right?
Yeah, and she's basically gone from around about 5 to 2 into 4 to 6 now.
Okay.
Meryl Streep is pretty friendless in the market, although she did win the BAFTA last week. So
yeah,
isn't that 'cause her name's Meryl Streep?
yeah, well, she turned up as well, and Viola Davis didn't turn up. Turn up. So maybe there was a clue there.
Oscars. I reckon you could probably rely on that. You know, Dave, anything that you really like this weekend as a punter?
I'm just trying to look. You know, I haven't actually got stuck into the racing cards as yet. It's just about the last weekend before the horses. There's one more weekend, perhaps Kempton next weekend, and then Cheltenham's sewn up. So no, I'm going to let you down at the moment. It looks like Stoke. We just all got to come out of here and just go straight across the road and put everything on Stoke, haven't we, tomorrow?
Yeah. So you'll know, if you're a regular watcher of the punter, you'll know that if Stoke don't win, there won't probably be a show next week because people will be swinging for them. Are you going to the football this week?
Yes,
Rusty?
I am actually going, Mike, to Goodison Park. So I mean, I'm really looking forward to that. That will be a massive game for Everton. They're starting to kick on a bit now, get back on form. I'm looking forward to that. But no, it's a big weekend of sport, and I'm betting every Saturday, Sunday, really huge thing across the business.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a good spread of action to go on here.
And you're going with Porky, right?
I'm going with Porky, but we've also got to cheer on everybody and ourselves as well to beat Flash on Badugi, because we need the freebie. That's what we very important. It's important.
It'll get us back in the game. All right, thanks to everybody who took part in the show this week, to Dave, Russ, Neil, and of course Flash. We'll be back with another punter next time. Have a fantastic weekend.